30 years ago, at the peak of MTV's power, they decided to expand their already groundbreaking animation programs with a new show called Oddities. The show launched in 1994 with a serialized show called The Head. MTV first dipped its toe into animation with the groundbreaking series Liquid Television. When they spun off the popular Frog Baseball short into its own series called Beavis and Butthead, they suddenly found themselves with an in-house juggernaut. It was decided to expand the animation department with even more shows, and a little more than a year later, their second animated show, The Head, debuted on September 1st, 1994. The show was created by 24-year-old animator Eric Fogel after his animated film Mutilator won NYU's Award of Excellence in Animation and became a cult favorite among the Spike and Mike's Sick Twisted Festival of Animation crowd. His work ended up in front of MTV Animation executives who were excited to greenlight his series. To this day, I vividly remember stumbling upon the show on a random Saturday morning and being drawn into the unique animation style with heavy, thick lines and strange characters. Unlike other cartoons I watched at the time, it was also a serialized show requiring me to tune in each week for the next part of the story. The plot of The Head feels at home with the films of Frank Henenlotter, especially if we're talking about Basket Case 2. Our hero Jim is a college student who wakes up one morning to find that his head has grown to massive proportions. After being harassed in an alley, his head splits open, revealing a purple alien named Roy living inside of it. Roy is trying to save Earth from a similar alien species that is set on dominating Earth. With the help of a group of human anomalies, they fight the alien invasion, as well as take down Dr. Lucas Elliott, who is a member of an unnamed government agency dead set on proving the existence of urban legends like aliens and Sasquatch. Despite having a brief cameo from Butthead in the first episode, and every once in a while an occasionally funny moment, The Head was far more bizarre than it was comedic, which seemed like a risky move at the time for MTV, but the show was a hit. MTV quickly released The Max under the Oddities label, which has gone on to be considered one of the greatest animated shows of all time. And it was in February of 1996 that The Head returned for a second season. But this time, the show no longer was serialized and instead featured a Monster of the Week structure and focused most of its energy on the other characters and less on Jim and Roy. Ultimately, something felt missing for the viewers, and the show was canceled after just 8 episodes aired. Perhaps one of the biggest issues with the second season is that it did lean harder into the comedy, but this was coming off the heels of Beyond Flux blowing up. While MTV Animation had been built on Beavis and Butthead, it had definitely established itself as a studio producing art house level creations at this time, and The Head Season 2 felt out of place and almost like a step back. Shortly after the second season was canceled, a 96-page graphic novel was released based on an unproduced episode of the series. Additionally, a planned video game for the Super Nintendo and Genesis was canceled, effectively ending the future of the property. While the second season didn't last long, it did help establish Eric Fogel as a creator to be watched at MTV Animation. He directed a few episodes of Daria, helped with the Liquid Television spin-off series Cartoon Sushi, and went on to create one of their biggest successes, Celebrity Deathmatch. And while The Head's moment in popularity lasted no more than 7 hours of television, it left an impression on the audience that watched it, and helped further expand the reach of MTV Animation, allowing for shows like Celebrity Deathmatch, Daria, and even Clone High to exist.